If you're like me, then you're an American citizen that loves America. You love its freedom. You love that you can eat a Big Mac, extra value meal in the middle of the street at 1 a.m. in Las Vegas. But you hate the current climate of American politics. I've been able to vote for 20 years, and I've, over that time, voted in 5 elections. So the first election would have been for George W. Bush. Second election, same thing. Then going into the Obama administration, and then finally coming out on the last Trump campaign. And now this will make the 6th election that I'm able to vote for. And what's always intrigued me is how somebody becomes nominated, how somebody wins an election. I've always wondered how an election is won. And the last election in 2016, it became very clear to me how to win an election. But there's some things that you have to do first no matter what. To become the President of the United States, there are 3 requirements as set forth by our Constitution. First, you must be a natural born citizen of the United States. Second, you must be at least 35 years old. And third, you must be a US resident for 14 years. Now, if you decide to run for office, the first thing you do is announce your candidacy. You choose what party you're going to be running under, and you announce that you will be running in it. And then we move into the primaries, where all of the potential candidates for all of the different parties go out on the road and try to gain support, because their first goal is to get their party's nomination. So what they do is they do different elements like campaigning around the country, traveling, fundraising, getting people to put out lawn signs and window signs and stickers on their car and t-shirts and hats, and they sell all kinds of merchandise. And they do speaking opportunities where they stand up in front of large crowds of people to talk about what they want to do, or just hate speak against the other people they're running against. But either way, they're going out and they're doing these things. Then comes the national conventions, and this is when the different parties decide on who it is that is going to represent their party. So in the case of the 2020 elections, the Republicans said we're going to continue to back Donald Trump as president. On the Democrat side, they announced that they were going to be choosing Joe Biden. And while these 2 parties typically make up the majority of the politics in the United States, they are not the only parties that are out there. There's the Libertarian Party, there's the Green Party, there's all these other candidates that are on the ballot to be voted for and chosen by their parties. Once each party has decided on who their candidate is, now it is that candidate's job to win over the people. Or is it the Electoral College? Here's why voting in the US and our concept of democracy is challenging, and to many people it's off-putting. Each state has a certain number of representation in both the Senate and the House of Representatives. You take the total number of those, you take that total number, and that's how many Electoral College votes your state has. It is up to those 15 people to make 1 vote each for whatever president they choose. In total, there's 538 electoral voters, and a president only needs 278 votes to win. Now, the frustrating thing about it is, if your state is largely controlled by one of the 2 major political parties, then the majority of your electoral voters are going to lean in that direction. Again, using New Jersey for example, we will always be, ever since 1992, a blue state. Whether you vote Republican or not, more than likely our state will be voting Democrat at the Electoral College level. But your vote is meant to influence the people voting, the representatives voting in the Electoral College. And that is why you have what's called battleground states. These battleground states are places like Pennsylvania and Florida, where they have a large majority of Electoral College votes, but because of the size of the state, you have different areas of the state that are largely Democrat or largely Republican or largely independent. And so you have a larger variance of electoral voters that could go either way. So a presidential nominee's job is to A, convince the general public to vote for them, and B, with those numbers coming in so strong in their favor and preaching what their political goals are, to also convince the Electoral College to vote for them. And here's the crazy thing. Here in the US, you can win the popular vote, but lose the election. Meaning, you could get a vast majority of voters to vote for you, but the Electoral College can still vote however they want. So if you go back through time, if you take Al Gore won the popular vote, but George W. Bush won the Electoral College. Bush beat Kerry in both the popular and Electoral College in 2004. Obama beat McCain in the popular vote and also the Electoral College by a large margin. Obama did the same thing again against Romney. And finally in 2016, Donald Trump lost the popular vote but won the Electoral College. Now here's a crazy story about that. Hillary Clinton got 2 Republican Electoral College voters to vote for her. That's a very difficult thing to do. Donald Trump got 5 Democrat Electoral College voters to vote for him. And that difference of 3 votes got Donald Trump the win. So I know that unfortunately, depending on where you are in the country, it feels like your vote doesn't matter. But your vote does matter. Your vote should be influencing the Electoral College to make a decision that you have helped to push forward based on what your philosophy is on politics. By the way, before I get too deep into this, since this is a video all about election and American politics and being an American in general, I may as well tell you about an awesome podcast a friend of mine is doing right now called Veterans with Benefits. They have just started. They have 3 episodes. It's on Spotify. Make sure you go and you check out the Veterans with Benefits podcast, and I'll put a link in the description below for you to be able to just click on it and go check it out. It's funny and it gives you a ton of information about life in the military, so whether you were in the military or not in the military, you're going to want to check this out. So, how do you win an election? The answer is simple. Marketing wins elections. Think about everything I just talked about before. Your goal as a candidate is first to win in the primaries, and you do that by going around and garnering support. As a company, as a business, your job is to go out into your local community or to the world and garner the support of your consumers. As a business, you do this through different things. One of the main ones is networking. Another way is through digital marketing. Another way is through commercials, advertising, billboards, lawn signs. There are all these different marketing elements that help you succeed as a small business owner. On the flip side, as a politician, all of those same things work for you. You go around the country and you network. You go to the battleground states in person and you speak to the people. That is networking. You are networking yourself. Then you go out and you get all kinds of YouTube advertising, Facebook advertising, Twitter advertising, which, let's face it, we're all sick of. And your goal is to influence the people who are heavy on the digital space. Lawn signs, bumper stickers, t-shirts, hats. This is all merchandising to put your message out there and your brand out there. Now, outside of all of those kind of traditional tactics of marketing that we can visually see, there's also a lot of the behind the scenes marketing that's happening. Take, for example, branding. Political branding takes a lot of time and execution. If you take a look at the logos for each of the 2 current nominees, both of them are to incite patriotism. Heavy on the red, white, and blue. Trump has always focused on his name being big and bold. Biden has the American flag, red and white stripes in his name. All genius marketing as far as putting your name out there and creating a brand. Another thing is general appearance. My job as a marketer is to make your company look fantastic. Your job as a business owner is to make sure when you send information out about your company, it looks its best. And the same thing happens with the individuals themselves. And the last thing is messaging. Making sure you're saying the right things at the right time. Now, if you watch the last debate that just happened, that travesty of a debate that just happened between Trump and Biden, for the most part, Biden beat Trump, and the main reason why was because his messaging was better. Trump was on defense the entire time, while Joe was on offense. Is Joe a better public speaker than Trump? I don't believe so. I think even though Trump speaks at a third grade level, I still think he could beat Biden if he just stuck on the offensive. But instead, he just wanted to defend himself and go back against whatever Biden was saying. So, branding, appearance, messaging, marketing tactics in and of themselves, all of that influences you to make the decision you make. So think about that. Now that we are currently about to be voting within the next month, literally within the next month, now that we are going to be voting within the next month, think about this as you go to vote and really think about why is it that you're voting and who is it that you're voting for and whether or not you're being influenced by marketing or whether it's because you truly believe in their platform. That's all I got, guys. Hey, have a great day, small business owners. Be small, think big. I wish y'all the best. Have a great day, y'all. Take care.